Welcome to the weekly Turtle WoW News with Vrograg Radio Edition. I'm your news anchor org, Vrograg Fishlayer, here to bring you all the top server news for the week of September 16th, 2024. Let's get to it. I'm the orc, and here's the news. Top news this week: Telebim will experience the first wave of a full-scale Scourge invasion from Northrend this week. Following server reset, players on the PvP server will bear witness to cultists, ghouls, and floating ziggurats all throughout Azeroth. The last time this event happened on Turtle WoW was late in 2021, so it will be quite a rare spectacle to be sure. The current schedule for the invasion is that it will last from September 17th until October 1st. This wave of undead monsters will culminate in the arrival of the Scourge's HQ in Eastern Plaguelands, Naxx. Word has it that the general leading this invasion force is none other than Kel'Thuzad. Evidently, Arthas was too cowardly to lead his own forces. I think Telebim will prove a rude awakening for the Scourge. Fight well, and I'm sure the day will be yours. In other top news, for 24 hours following this week's scheduled restart, keep an eye out in Stormwind and Orgrimmar for an NPC by the name of Koyuye. That is spelled Qiuyue. This NPC will be available to help players celebrate the Chinese Autumn Moon Festival. To those unaware, like myself until I researched the holiday, the Autumn Moon Festival is an ancient holiday dating as far back as 3,000 years ago. It, like many other harvest time holidays, is a time for thanks and eating delicacies, in this case the consumption of mooncakes. Appearing on the official Turtle WoW Twitter was an image of these sweet bean pastries along with the announcement honoring the holiday for the Chinese player base. So, if you find your character a little peckish, take some time to find the NPC and participate in this one-day event. To round out top news, as of late we've been scanning the various channels for any new teaser or word about development or timeline for the 1.17.2 patch. Admittedly, this week was relatively quiet as far as teasers, but a few days ago there was a post showing the new loading screen for the Tower of Karazhan. It features the previously revealed artwork of adventurers discovering a great arcane elemental in the Haunted Tower, created by the talented Lionel Schramm. So for now, development seems to be ongoing, while the people of Azeroth eagerly await more news about the patch. That is all the time we have for top news this week. Until next time, I've been Vrograg Fishlayer. Thank you for listening to Everlook Radio, and remember, the deadliest weapon is knowledge. Welcome to Market Watch Radio Edition for the week of September 16th, 2024. I'm your market analyst, Vrograg Fishlayer. All our data is gathered from numbers provided by WoWauctions.net, the industry leader in auction house reports. I throw it all together to make indexes of various market sectors as well as the S&P 200, an index of the 200 biggest and most influential commodities in the economy. Let's crunch the numbers. First to Telebim. The Alliance S&P 200 lost 2% this week, closing at 5 gold 28. The Horde S&P also lost a modest 4% and closed at 6 gold 42. The Horde primary index remains slightly elevated over the Alliance counterpart, but is starting to show less variance than in weeks previous. The two faction-locked markets might start mirroring each other better if this trend continues. This is best exemplified through the enchanting market. Alliance and Horde both closed at 6 gold 23, which is a 13% increase for the Alliance and a 13% loss for the Horde. Looking to other profession indexes, Alliance mining was up 20% to 1 gold 30, while Horde miners lost 12% to 1 gold 40. Both tailoring indexes gained value. Alliance jumped 63% after strong showings from Mooncloth, closing at 1 gold 80, while the Horde gained 20% at a more modest 1 gold 20 valuation. It would be wise for Telebim investors to keep an eye on items for Tier 3 tokens in the coming weeks as the Scourge invasion kicks off the countdown to Naxx. There has already been some movement in tailoring through Mooncloth, but Cured Rugged Hides and Arcanite Bars all will be in hot demand soon enough. Over on Nordinar, the S&P 200 dropped 7% and finished the week at 8 gold 20. The market is really softening up, as prices this low haven't been seen since late March. The limbo the community has been in, waiting for the next patch, certainly has stymied overall market interest in the broader assortment of goods, and as always, if you have a big purchase to make, now might be the perfect time. Looking into specific market sectors, mining gained 60% following a rally on the 15th. This sudden spike, bringing the value of mining back to values it has not seen since mid-July, was due mostly in part to unmet demands for dark iron bars, which shot up from 4 gold 80 on the 15th to 11 gold where they are as of the time of this report. There has been some rumored speculation about the potential for dark iron to play a role in jewel crafting. While that might account for the sudden inflation of this metal, dark iron has had previous price jumps, like back in early June where it reached a high of over 16 gold. This week, the skinny market fell 19% from 1 gold 78 to 1 gold 44. Despite the loss this week, skinners have enjoyed slowly appreciating values on their goods. Since March of this year, the index has yielded 50% growth, though the road there had many periods of boom and bust, as one particular skin was in hot demand but supply could not keep up. Items like Scale of Onyxia, Devilsaur Leather, and the various Dragon Scales all show up some amount of growth this month alone. So it might be wise for skinners to keep an eye on the market and catch the next big buying frenzy to make a mint. That's all the time we have for this week's Market Watch. I hope you found some of the information here useful. Make sure to use wowauctions.net for all of your own market research. Remember to keep an eye on your coin, otherwise someone else will for you. Back to your regularly scheduled program. Welcome to Turtle Wow News' Community Bulletin, Radio Edition. I'm your host, Vrograg Fishslayer, here to bring you all the community news and updates on events going on in your community, for the player and by the player, for the week of September 16th, 2024. There was an early assault by the Scourge on the Telebim server this weekend. A shadowy figure claiming to be an emissary of the Scourge by the name of Arthasfan was allegedly responsible for the maneuver. There were various war machines and half-constructed ziggurats crammed into the Gurabashi arena. It wasn't long until the sneak attack was discovered. In a show of defiance, the community there fought in a PvP tourney as they jeered and fought in a blood-soaked pit, unbothered by the Scourge's machinations. Arthasfan was suitably impressed and claimed that the true assault would be, quote, actually interesting, though he insisted Azeroth would not survive. If you're interested to see the spectacle, there is a VOD available on my YouTube channel. Today, as this script is being written, I received a secret message for players interested in the upkeep and maintenance of minion undead creatures. Despite numerous assaults by the shadowy necromancer Alucard, this bold teacher is using Scholomance as an institute to teach others about the art of necromancy. As I understand it, this evil group wishes to keep this meeting secret, but we here at Turtle Wow News don't mind shining a light on a nefarious plot. Sadly, by the time this message reaches you, the class will be over. But it does mean that those who oppose such wicked magic should redouble their efforts to protect their people. It would seem Alucard is getting more bold. On the 19th at 9 p.m. server time, there will be a recruitment gathering for Heroes of Gilneas. Many know of the tribulations of the Hermit Kingdom, only recently revealed through the grand gates of Gilneas being opened once again. Role players seeking to tell the story of the survivors of this harrowing land are invited to meet at Ravenshire. Anyone from the Grand Alliance or Neutral Alliance members are invited to join this gathering as the people of Gilneas forge a new path into the future. Expect a festive evening with ale provided by the Dark Iron Dwarves. For those seeking some organized battleground fun, remember to keep an eye out on the event channel. On the 18th, those interested in taking part in a level 20 through 29 BG are encouraged to queue starting at 10:50 p.m. server time. And as this is first aired on the 16th, there will have already been a Sunnyglade Valley Day event, thanks to those community members organizing battleground events for the PvP enthusiasts of the community. Whether it's events, pugs, or just general fun, Turtle Wow is more than a game, it's a community. So do your part in continuing that legacy by getting involved. I've been Vrograg Fishslayer, wishing you all a fun week on the server. Loktar Ogar. Vrograg Fishslayer here, keeping you up to date and informed about all the latest changes and adjustments coming to you through the changelog. Today we'll look at the changelog from September 10th, 2024, which hosted 14 separate changes. Let's check out the most impactful ones with this week's changelog roundup. In a reverse decision, last week's announcement from the Azerothian Blacksmith Alliance that shields should only work while unsheathed was overturned. The paladins and shamans who were most affected were able to issue an injunction, noting that warriors were able to keep their shields equipped while using vocal abilities like Taunt. and they used this reasoning to have the original decision appealed. It would seem that this shield debacle might be heading to a higher court. We'll report more on the story as it continues. In a surprise announcement, the cruel lord of Naxx, Kel'Thuzad, gave a public apology to hunters and their pets. This was in response to, among dozens of other war crimes, the Arch-Lich using his Frostblast ability on hunter pets. Quote, "As a loving pet owner myself, I know our beloved best friends have a habit of being where they shouldn't. I understand that in recent weeks I might have utterly obliterated some hunters' personal friends. For that, and only that, I am sorry." Kel'Thuzad then teleported away, but strangely not a single pet has been harmed by his Frostblast ability. And speaking of hunters, a provider for nearly 90% of the hinges used in hunter traps issued a recall notice. The hinge manufacturer Gobbo Frameworks discovered in testing that the hinges used in their luxury Clever Trap model were performing exactly as their consumer brand variation. This week, replacement traps were sent out to subscribing hunters, and the Clever Traps are now operating as expected. This week, a holy priest landed in some hot water. Perhaps lacking in some discipline, the anonymous priest decided to use their Proclaim Champion effect on a particularly cute squirrel found in Elwyn Forest. Unfortunately, the priest accidentally suffused the light into a cleverly disguised dreadlord. High-ranking priest officials from the cathedral in Stormwind confirmed that the squirrel was indeed cute, but the fact that it was speaking and promising untold power should have been a dead giveaway that the critter wasn't all that it appeared to be. The Proclaim Champion effect had to be removed for some time, but has been reinstated following the dispatching of the mighty Squirrel Dreadlord. And finally, the framework for dungeon grouping received some notable adjustments last week. The previous system of being able to do a /camp to exit the dungeon was replaced by a more convoluted and vanilla-like way to do it. This change is in response to exploiters who discovered a way to reset instances to allow for unlimited farming of dungeon spawning materials and bosses within the old system. As always, exploiters seem to find a way to ruin everything. Refer to the changelog for instruction on how to reliably reset your own dungeon. That completes the changelog roundup for last week. This week's changelog may be out soon, so make sure to check it out so you can keep on top of all the latest adjustments coming to Turtle WoW. I've been Vrograg Fishlayer with Everlook Radio, reminding you all to stay informed, because the deadliest weapon is knowledge.